feeling frustrated with leaks and constantly having to run to the bathroom? Hi, I'm Dr. Melissa. In today's class, we are going over tips to help ease that urgency and stop leaks. Go grab your mats and let's do this. If you happen to have some yoga blocks and a small ball, maybe a tennis ball or a golf ball, you can go ahead and grab that. If not, no worries, I've got you covered. So we're going to get started today standing. And we're going to start with our feet wider than hip distance apart. We're going to start on the right-hand side, and you want to think of this rotation coming inward from the hip. So it's not just the foot turning inward. We're going to bend that right knee and think of the sit bone lengthening behind you. You can bring those hands down. So we want to feel this lengthening stretch in the glutes and in our pelvic floor. This left leg stays nice and straight. We're going to push into that leg, pull yourself, come back up and send the hips to the left, and you'll feel that stretch in that right inner thigh. Good. Send the hips back over, bend, right sit bone goes back. Press into that foot, pull yourself, come back up, send the hips to the left. So we're just moving in and out of this. And we're going over kind of whole body approach tips today. I wish there was one quick super fix that you can do to help with leaks and urgency. What is really learning to connect with your breath and the pelvic floor and getting to the root cause of what's going on. There's definitely exercises like these that we can do when we're having symptoms to help calm them down, but getting to the cause of what's creating that tension in my pelvic floor so that I can stop this pattern, whether it be things like squeezing our glutes, checking in with your breath. Posture plays a really big role. What's going on with my hips, this rotation, which is why we're doing this one. And our feet, we're going to check in with our feet. I have a little bonus. I had 3 for you, but I added a bonus one in. So stay to the end if you want to know how your feet can help. Good. Come back up. Now we're going to switch. So that right foot faces forward. We're going to take the left leg, rotate that whole left leg inward. We're coming from the sit bone. The sit bone's going to lengthen back. And then come back up, hips go to the right. So you can do about 8 or 10 of these. And it's connecting the breath with that pelvic floor. So as we inhale, we want the breath to go down and lengthen our pelvic floor. Nice job. And a lot of times the pelvic floor is too tight, and that's why we have a hard time feeling that connection. Nice. Last one. Coming back up. Now this next one, I'm going to show you lots of options. We're coming down into a squat where if you've got the yoga blocks, if getting into a deep squat is not comfortable for you, moving those feet hip distance apart, sink your hips back, and you can use your hands to support yourself here. So you kind of wiggle left and right. You can drop and dip those shoulders down. Or if you've got some blocks, like stacking the blocks up, coming into a deep squat. This is what I'm always working on. Okay, so bring those elbows into the inside of the knees, stay lifted through the tailbone. You're going to hinge forward, take a breath in here. So whether you're in this deep squat or the higher up squat, on your exhale, we're going to push into the feet and just fold forward. Your head can come down. Holding forward, and then come back. You're going to sink those hips back down. Use those hands coming in. Open up the inner thighs. Tailbone lifted. Exhale, press, round forward. Sink those hips. Come back down. Open up those hips. Use the breath to feel pelvic floor. Straighten, hinge, and move back down. So this is great. You can do the same thing, 8 or 10 of these, and you might find one of these exercises to be a little bit more helpful. So seeing what works best for your body is always super helpful. It's noticing left side, right side, where is that tension? Where can I feel the connection with my pelvic floor and my breath? Okay. Now the next exercise we're going to do, coming down onto the ground, you've got your block or a pillow. We're going to place that in between our knees, coming into tabletop. We want to make sure our tailbone's not tucked and is not lifted with a big arch in the back. Neutral. And we're going to squeeze the block and spin those shins out towards the side. and bring it back in. There's been lots of research studies done with our deep hip rotators and the connection with our pelvic floor and helping with urgency and bladder leaks. So if we can strengthen these deep internal rotator muscles, as we're doing in this exercise, that can help. So we're squeezing the block on the exhale, sliding those shins out, and your exhale, like you're blowing out candles. Using the breath, and you're not squeezing the block like 150%. Gentle squeeze, feel the inner thighs, you'll feel the hips. See if you notice a difference from side to side. And the same thing, 8 or 10 of these guys. So those are some of my go-to exercises that I like to help, especially when having symptoms, and then digging a little deeper to get to the root cause. Now, my bonus, our feet, there's such a big connection with our feet. So I'll show you and then I'll talk you through. We're going to start on the right-hand side with the ball and just kind of rolling. Now, if you didn't have the ball, you could massage the bottom of your foot, coming in and out. So there's so many different connections with our feet and our pelvic floor. The nerves that innervate our feet and our calf are the same for the pelvic floor and the bladder. The movements at our feet when we pronate and supinate, moving in and out, that movement goes up the chain from our shins, our thighs, into our hip and our pelvis. And we also have, just again, checking in, noticing left side, right side, what you're feeling. We also have a fascial connection. The bottom of the feet comes all the way up to the inner thigh into the pelvic floor. So just working on your feet can help. So if you've got that urge, and especially if you just went to the bathroom, try rolling the bottom of your feet 30, 60 seconds. And then the last one with the feet, I'll show you that I like to do. If you're just getting out of the car, coming home, and you've got to like rush and put the keys in, or you're running to the bathroom, and you're like, ooh, squeezing, holding, really try to just use your breath and come up onto the toes and back down. So because of that nerve innervation, sometimes our brain has a signal that we have to go, and we don't have to go because we just went. So working those muscles in the feet can help relax the pelvic floor muscles so we don't have that urgency to go. So the breathing with the heel raising. So those are some of my go-to exercises to help with bladder leaks and that urgency. And it's really connecting with the breath and the pelvic floor to get to that root cause of why is the pelvic floor so tight. All right, let's take a nice big cleansing breath in. Lift those arms all the way up overhead. Exhale, bring your hands down towards heart center. If you're wanting to learn more about how your core and your pelvic floor works, we have a free 7-day beginner core and pelvic floor challenge here. And I'll also put a lot more resources for you down below in the description box. Keep up the good work. Until next time.